No, because you brought up the Ralph Northam thing. I gave you my
answer. The answer is no.
You brought up the Ralph Northam thing.
I gave you the answer.
So you don't think
I clearly don't agree with the idea that a baby is born with deformity. You kill it. I clearly
we're not talking about just
we're not talking about an individual.
We're not talking about with like a limp arm or something. We're talking about a quality of life disability where they will never be able to have any quality of life.
Right. I can say the same thing over and over again. I believe that we should not allow doctors to kill a baby, regardless. I think every effort should be made to preserve the life of the baby.
Okay, so you don't think that people should have a right to die with dignity at all, basically?
Kathy Newman, we're not talking about that. If a woman,
I think it all really.
If a woman like Terry Schiavo suffers a stroke, a disease, she's older and later in life, and she has the ability to make a cognitive decision, or her next of kin does, and it's the issue of, do we pull her off life support? That's different from a newborn baby in a different legal context.
The legal context is the parents have the full right to do what's best for their child.
I think
this is a conservative position too, by the way, in terms of parents having the right to.
How many times I gotta tell you I'm a liberal?
Okay,
so let me make a point.
Okay.
The issue. Well, go ahead.
Well, because we have to distinguish between two things. There are situations where a person is injured to the point where they require extraordinary measures in order to stay alive. So we're not talking about, food, water, basic treatment. We're talking about things like being hooked up to an insane amount of machines, things that are incredibly burdensome. There is a difference between a person in that situation who's saying, without all of these unnatural means, I would die, so pull the plug, and saying this person's alive, but they're suffering, so we're going to kill them. There's a difference between pulling the plug in a life support situation where that person requires extraordinary means to stay alive, and a person who is alive and is sustained, but you're deciding to go out of your way to kill them. Those are two different situations.
Yeah, that's a good point. But also, I think the point you're making too is if the baby was in a situation where it was dying. Let's say the baby's born with a hole in its heart, which happens, and it's bleeding too fast for them to try and surgically repair. My answer is repair it. Let's say a baby's born without a brain. It's happened before.
Yep.
I do not. I think the issue is, I'll tell you why I take the pro-choice stance, the traditional liberal one, not the modern liberal one. I don't believe the government has a right to dictate a person, give their body or blood to another person. And there are questions of privacy and there are questions of government overreach. However, when another person enters the equation, you have one person sharing two bodies. That's why I'm like, so second and third trimester abortions are where things get risky. Now, when it comes to a baby being born, the question is the legal permission to kill a baby. I say the answer is no. Every effort must be made to save the life of the baby. In the instance of Terry Schiavo, every effort was made to save her, but she was dwindling. So it's a question of
what is the effort to save the life of a baby born without a brain?
Actually, none. So the baby that was born without a brain, just it was the cerebellum, I think. I don't know if you know the story. The involuntary functions all functioned completely fine, and general stimuli happened. So the baby was able to eat, was able to basically live and grow, but not articulate thoughts or learn math or things like that. The bigger issue is not a singular case, right? The issue I have with the Terry Schiavo case is the legal protections of the individual. Terry Schiavo in this instance has had an opportunity to file a DNR or not. Without a do not resuscitate, it falls to the next of kin. A baby hasn't had that opportunity. We don't know. So we just say, preserve the life to the best of our abilities. There are many circumstances where babies were born in a state that a doctor has said it's not viable, and the baby's actually lived. There are many people who actually survived attempts at abortion. There are many people who were born and the doctor didn't believe it was possible. There are many people who were born where the doctor said, you will die if you have this baby. In fact, a good friend of mine was bedridden, I think the entirety of her pregnancy, because the doctor said, we have no choice. And she said, I will lie still on a bed for 9 months to have this baby. And the doctor was like, you can't do it. And she had the baby and the kid's healthy and alive and living in a
And she made that choice.
Absolutely.
Not everyone can stay in a bed for 9 months straight. Agreed. That's amazing.
So my issue is,
if only this country did something for mothers, they could all be in that same position.
So the reason I disagree with late-term abortion, especially, partial birth abortion is out of the question, is that when a secondary individual's rights are brought into question, you don't have an easy way to say one person's rights trump another. In which case, I think late-term abortions are wrong. I think the killing of a baby, the terminating of a pregnancy, as the CDC defines it, as the Democrats proposed it, would be wrong. And for some reason, Seamus over here, who's pro-life, who disagrees with me, Lydia, who disagrees with my position, have a much more reasonable position to where I'm at than the left does. So for me, let me explain it. Social liberal my whole life. I believe there should have been efforts to alleviate inequality among marginalized races growing up in Chicago and experiencing it. And I believed that freedom of speech was very, very important, and we must protect the civil rights of all people. And, my family typically was in the position of first trimester. It's begrudgingly okay. We don't like it, but we recognize the extent to which we're willing government to allow to have a say in certain matters when it comes to a person's life. But when it comes to the issue of a viable baby, then killing it would be egregious and wrong. Now, that position doesn't exist among the modern left in terms of the political space. I can talk to a Democrat like my friend who will tell me that's their belief. And I'll say, but that's not what the Democrats are trying to pass. According to the CDC, abortion would end the life of the baby. And the Democrats passed a bill that had a blanket open. The life of the baby can be ended if the mother's health is in question. But if the mother's health is in question, it doesn't explain why you would end the life of the baby when you could just induce labor or perform a C-section.
And that's what happens when that situation is.
That's not possible. An abortion.
Wait, what?
Let me start again. Go ahead. The CDC defines abortion as a procedure intended to terminate a suspected or known ongoing intrauterine pregnancy, I'm pronouncing that wrong, and that does not result in a live birth. The Democrats' bill would remove any restriction on abortion, that is, ending a pregnancy with no live birth after viability, if the pregnant patient's life is in jeopardy.
So where are you? I'm a little bit. The reason I think there's some confusion here is I'm confused what your position is. What is the Tim Pool position on this? Because you said safe, legal, and rare.
Well, I've absolutely defined it several times. Let me do it again for you.
Okay.
Within the first trimester.
Do you think it's not safe, legal, and rare now?
I don't know what that means. What does that mean?
I don't know. That's what you've been saying. That it needs to be safe, legal, and rare. So what do you? So what do you? So what do you consider? Colorado. What do you consider to be safe, legal, and rare? Describe without bringing up anything in other states. Give me what you consider a safe abortion, a legal abortion, and what rare means in the term of abortion.
So safe, legal, and rare is a political catchphrase from
that you use a lot. Yes.
Right. Because it represents the position of we don't like abortion, we think it's wrong. Right. So,
but it's not. It's not wrong.
Yes, it is.
It's not wrong.
Traditional liberal.
If abortion saves a woman's life, then it's not wrong. It's a medical. But it's a triumph of medicine to save a woman's life.
I'm sorry, James. Let me try and answer. So in the 90s, we said safe, legal, and rare because it represented a position we had. Abortion as contraception is wrong. What do you think? Do you think abortion as contraception is okay?
Abortion as contraception? Well, that's why we need to have sex education because it's preferable to not do that.
I don't disagree. Do you think abortion as contraception is wrong?
I personally wouldn't do it because I have 2 kids. So right. I've planned and these were 2 planned children. And these are 2 kids that I wanted to have.
But is it wrong?
Is it wrong? What?
Abortion as contraception?
No, I don't think it's wrong. It's not in a perfect world, we would have sex education and this wouldn't happen, but we don't live in a perfect world.
Well, so why would a perfect world? I'm confused. Are you saying it's wrong or it's not wrong?
Oh, it's not wrong.
So we don't need sex education. It's fine.
No, sex education is preferable. I just said that.
Right. But irrespective of abortion as contraception because you don't think it's wrong.
I don't think it's wrong. Okay, but it's preferable that it doesn't happen.
Okay. I understand. So I think it's wrong. But I don't think it should. I don't like the idea that the government intervenes at a certain stage in the pregnancy, and so
but you still haven't answered my question about what safe, legal, and rare means to you. Like what does rare for you mean in the sense of abortion?
Not abortion as contraception.
Okay.
Which is 92% of abortions, elective abortions.
Okay, we have in terms of
what percentage is rape or incest?
It's like 1%. I think.
Right.
It's
less than 0.84. I think.
Yeah.
So rare is people should not be going out, having sex, getting pregnant, and then being like, get an abortion. However, my position, because it comes from a libertarian stance, the government shouldn't be involved, means it's going to happen. I don't like it. I think it's wrong. But safe, legal, and rare means legal, means the government doesn't intervene. However,
by the sense of it being legal, the government has intervened because they've made it legal.
No, the government doesn't make things legal. Things are either legal or things that already are legal, or they're decriminalized, or they're made illegal. If the government doesn't make something legal for you.
If Roe v. Wade gets overturned, what happens in this country? Abortion becomes up to the states who can make it illegal, right?
But states can already remove the restrictions in place. Okay, so you said they're making it legal.
They
They're not making it legal.
they can remove some restrictions.
So to answer your question, as I've been trying to.
Wait, you know we don't go by the trimester thing anymore, right?
What do you mean?
Roe v. Wade is